Thank you for joining us. I'm ABC 24 anchor Pepper Baker. We're keeping you in the know this election season. May 5th is the Shelby County primary election, and there's a lot of emphasis on the process to run as an elected official and then the process to be certified by your desired political party. And there's more attention on this now than I think there is normally. So to bring some clarity to the table here is Shelby County Democratic Party Chair Willie Simon. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Of course. So, yeah, we got to clear the air on some things because there's just been a lot of news about that process for candidates to run as an elected official. So, as of February 26th, which is today, Thursday,
that's right,
the Shelby County Election Commission has a list of candidates that are now, they have filed their petitions, they've been approved, and from my understanding, certified by their parties.
Right.
Okay, so there's 7 Democrats certified to run for Shelby County mayor.
That's right.
That is the race that we're going to kind of focus on with this conversation for now. But one of those candidates was in question, and that was for a while before this, and that was Dr. Marie Feagins. And that started off with whether she was bona fide or not as a Democrat by the local Shelby County Democratic Party. So she put it on Facebook and announced that she was unanimously approved by the primary board. Let's start there. Where did that information come from, or how did she have that understanding?
Well, I don't think there was an understanding. What was officially sent to Dr. Feagins was a message saying that they needed more information. And there could have been information that leaked through another person that may be affiliated with her campaign, where information was sent, but not specifically to her, that talked about somebody being a bona fide Democrat. And so as we only go by what was sent to the candidate, and the candidate received a letter that was asking for more information. And I want to just clear it up when people start talking about, you know, whether there's a conspiracy. There's no conspiracy in us vetting people. I mean, that's what we're supposed to do. If you don't have enough information about a particular person and their voting records, which is one of the most important things that we look at, we have to ask the question. And when we ask the question, if that information is not readily available, we'll reach out to those individuals. And due to time constraints, because we had to have it at a certain time, her campaign didn't really respond until right around the last minute. So everybody was rushing to try to affirm her, get the information so she could be affirmed or sent to the state so that they can make a decision on it. But if you didn't have the information, you didn't have the information. Mm-hmm. So it finally got to the state, and that's why you saw state party chair make a statement, well, I haven't gotten the information yet, but we got it at the final hour. And so we were able to refer at the final hour, and a decision was made based off that. And the decision's made, and she's on the ballot. There's no conspiracy. There's nothing behind that. But what we do as a party is vet, and that's important. It's an important process. I think there was an article in the newspaper, someone had just written and just kind of explained the whole process. It's an age-old process that we've been following, and there's no mystery or conspiracy behind it.
Okay, so let's unpack that a little bit, because you have a timeline and you went through all of it. Yes, right now she's on the ballot, and seemingly so the state and the county have either agreed or that's just what's decided. But 2 days after she made, or a couple days after she made that Facebook post about being unanimously voted by the primary board on the county Democratic Party, then there was another leak, and that was some email from what seemed to be the Shelby County Democratic Party that she was not, in fact, certified and needed to take down messaging.
Along with a request for information that was agreed. It's amazing how some things get leaked and not everything gets leaked. Mm-hmm. So for whatever reason that may be, but that was a request that was made for information so that that letter didn't have to go out. But once we saw the one letter go out, there had to be some clarification to the public, because no one else that, I mean, remember, we have over 100 and some odd people running the races. And you didn't see that messaging go out from anybody else. And so what we were trying to do is make sure that people understood the process was consistent and that no one could actually claim validation until the process went to the state and the proper body that was going to validate that race. So it was nothing, still not anything attacking Dr. Feagins, but really just making sure that the integrity of the process was kept the whole time. And that's the only reason that correspondence went out. And yeah, of course, people feel some type of way when that stuff comes out. But at the end of the day, if you want to release the whole statement, and then you'll get a better understanding of why that was out.
So what was the missing piece as to why she wasn't immediately certified, or why you needed to bring the state in?
Well, there were questions about voting record. There's always going to be questions about what we can pull directly here in the state of Tennessee. We can see it, but if you kind of move around a little bit, we have to validate that. Now, a lot of times a candidate can self-report. They can, if you know that's something that you are going to be reviewed on, you could self-report, bring that information in, and that could validate you right away. But if that information is not available, then we have to take it up to another level where someone can do more of a national search to try to validate voting records or whatever may be reported. If you come in and say, I worked on this and I did this, well, you just can't just say it. Mm-hmm. There has to be proof of it. And I think the process worked. Okay. The process worked because there was some more research done and it was elevated, and process worked.
So now she does have her voting record turned in.
The voting record was verified.
Was verified.
Yep, the voting record was verified. I can't tell you exactly what was on it because I haven't seen it myself. But I would say that the voting record reflected something that the state party felt like was enough. And plus and it's not just really just voting record. It's also, you have people that will vouch for you that are Democrats that can basically talk about the work you do and those kinds of things. So there are some intangibles that are there that actually can walk you right through the process along with a voting record. And so I think it was considered, and the state made a decision based off the information they had in front of them.
Okay. So the state decided Dr. Marie Feagins can remain on the ballot. You all are honoring that decision.
Absolutely.
And she very much is well within her right and ability to run in the primaries.
Absolutely.
Okay. What did you think of her first opening statement at you all's forum on Monday night when she said, thank you to the party that de-bonafied me?
Thank you to the party that de-bonafied me, if that's a word.
I think that was a bit, I think she should have thought that out a little bit more before she made a statement like that. But, sometimes people don't understand the process. I think she had an opportunity. I talked to Dr. Feagins on a couple of occasions, and she can call me if ever she wants to verify something. So I don't have a problem with that. We have been totally transparent with her. We were transparent with the process. I think sometimes when you listen to some of the hype that was around this whole thing, because there were conspiracy theories that happened. I mean, conspiracies all the way to December when she first announced, they're trying to figure out how to put me out. But when you really think about it, is her announcement didn't come until December. And that paperwork that supposedly got leaked to the public was actually handed out in a meeting in November.
Oh, wow.
So when we have those conversations, it's funny. And it was composed in October. And so we rolled it out in November, and it was really to address what many candidates came to ask me. They said, what does it take to be a candidate? And so for them not to understand that, the education had to be there. And we felt like we needed to put it on paper so people could understand what we would be looking at and what the primary board would be looking at. Mm-hmm. And so, and the primary board got that board basically came together around November, December. So there was no conspiracy. Mm-hmm. Nobody woke up in the morning and said, we're going to target one person and do that. What we want to do is make sure we have a clear, concise, and a clear process on making sure that we have so many of the candidates. We had to have a way to funnel those things through a group of people to be able to look at and validate them in a more efficient way and really a transparent way. And that's why it was like that.
Okay, and a couple questions here on this, but so today we had news that on the other side, the Republican side, former TV court judge or criminal court judge Joe Brown was rejected by the state Republican Party because of voting record. And come to find out with a little bit more research, he had voted Democrat in the last few primaries. That doesn't qualify him to run as a Republican because it doesn't align with what the Republicans' qualifications are. But when we look, some people texted me asking, well, Republicans are able to reject Joe Brown for the very same reason that Marie Feagins was in question, but Democrats are having problems either following through with it. But, can you kind of bring some clarity to why those two situations might be different?
Well, I can't speak to what the Republicans do. I think what happened on our side, there are other considerations that are actually brought to the table when we're deciding to vet a particular person. I mean, we have candidates that may have gotten into the democratic process voting from the standpoint and making sure that their voting record was up over the last few years. I mean, you got 18-year-olds that decide, hey, I want to run for political office. Of course, they can't meet that 3 out of 5 primaries because they're not old enough. And but they work in the party, they do all the things they need to do in the party, so that should have some consideration. And I think when you look back to the rubric when we even brought it out, if people that were so against this, oh, this is terrible, it gave every opportunity for somebody that did not have the voting record to kind of make it up with engagement with the party, with engagement with campaigns, with engagement with making sure that their alignment with democratic values were being focused on, whether it be social media, the statements that they make, and all those things gave you points, so to speak, on proving your candidacy was a real alignment with the Democratic Party. And so, I don't know what Judge Joe Brown, I respect him, and I don't know what happened over in the Republican Party, but what I do say is that because we have a larger number of people, and this is a true blue county, I mean, we're going to get more looks at what we do, and I hope we get away from the conspiratory mindset, thinking that because we vet just like other parties vet, that we're not out here trying to disengage people or keep the tent small, because the tent is very large.
Right.
I mean, if you look at how many people are running, we open the door for a lot of people to come in the door. So. Okay,
so just to simplify it, Dr. Marie Feagins' voting record is verified, and she's rightfully just able to run for Shelby County mayor as a Democrat. She's able to run as a Democrat via the vetting process with the state. Absolutely. Is there how is y'all's relationship? Is there any just discourse between you all's decision to refer to the state? I don't think there's discourse. I think there's, during the process of you doing these kinds of things, you have to make sure that there's a clear understanding between both entities to make sure that we're in alignment on what we're looking at. And so I think there was some, because we have an all-new, our primary board was all new people. And I know their primary board probably had new people there as well. And so as you're trying to go through those processes, look at the process and make sure that it's an alignment, I think there are sometimes communication that has to be, concise and it has to be timely and all those things. And then we ran into some timelines, and then candidates didn't help us because they turned in information late, or I forgot to do it, and that kind of thing. So whenever you have bumps in the process, you're going to have some things that don't look like it's synergized. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, our party, whether it be state or local, we support the decisions that come out of this, and we make sure that our candidates are ready to run. Okay. Last, really quickly here, and one candidate that's not getting as much attention as Dr. Feagins is Thomas Long, who's running for county trustee. And he was rejected by the state Democratic Party, or at least his certification was, and he is no longer able to run. However, it was given to me that his voting record has been very much Democrat for the last more than 20 primaries. So anything you can speak to as to why he is not able to be certified as a Democrat?
Well, there are several things that are looked at. Of course, your voting can be a certain thing. Voting is a real consideration. In fact, that's one of the top things we look at, but it's also alignment with the messaging that we have from our party. I know there were some things that were in question that align with values or with actions that don't necessarily toe the line for Democrats. And so I think that those things considered, those things that were challenged, I don't know, and keep in mind, Thomas Long has an opportunity to go back to the state and basically appeal. And in the appellate process, if he presents information that takes away that whatever decision they came to, he can still be on the ballot.
Okay.
But the appellate process is something that's available to any of those candidates. So I think, you know, when we look at the doors closed, the door is not actually closed unless you don't want to appeal it. And if you appeal, I think there's an opportunity that things may go your way or they may not.
Okay.
But that's the process.
Cut and dry right there. Well, I do appreciate you clarifying some things that a lot of people have been talking about on social media and have been hitting up my phone. But is there anything else that you just want voters to know about your standing and how you are as Democratic Party chair of the county, just how you all are working towards May 5th?
Right. So I want everybody to realize that as a party, we're trying to make sure that we put every effort to make sure that we educate our all Democrats on the process, how it matters, that their vote matters, that their engagement matters, because we're in a situation right now where we're seeing that we have 150,000 people that may lose voting rights because they're on the inactive list. That is that's strategic in a way. And so being in Shelby County where we have around 600,000 voters and you had 150,000 people, I mean, that's a big chunk, and it can change races. So what I want us to do is focus on getting involved in the process. No matter who the candidate you're supporting is, get in the process. And we're going to make every effort to reach out to those 150,000 people that may be on the fringe of losing their voting rights. We're going to be, of course, registering new voters. I think we're going to take the time out to explain what offices are being run for. Because what's funny is a lot of people think these offices and the scope of the responsibility of these offices are something they're really not, because public perception doesn't actually know what the Shelby County mayor really does, or what the county commission really does, or what, you know, these clerk positions, what do they really do? And I think it's an opportunity for us to start educating on those things, and an opportunity for the candidates to start pointing their platforms to educate the public, to let them know, hey, this is how we're going to represent you doing this particular job, and this is how, and the public can say, okay, because we know what you're supposed to do, we can start holding you accountable for what we know that you're supposed to do.
Yep. All right. Well, one step to that is you coming in today and giving us time to clarify. So appreciate your time. Thank you for watching. For all things elections, please stick with ABC 24 and 24 Plus. Thank you for watching.